Welcome back to another episode of Hudson's Highlights. What we do here on my channel is we discuss movies and TV shows and things within that space. So today is my 25th episode, 25. And today's going to be the episode that I promised you guys yesterday about movies and TV news. As I mentioned before, wasn't enough last week to cover, so I moved a few things around. We had some adjustments made to the channel anyway, so we just took that opportunity to work on the intro, work on the exit, work on some thumbnails, try to get the channel a better quality for you guys. So this week there was enough news for me to decide to drop some movie and TV news segment, and also I wanted to have a few minutes set aside at the end to discuss a little bit about my adventure to this point, since it is my 25th video that I'll be dropping today. So with all that down, there was a new trailer that dropped for Andor. It was pretty good. It was some of the same. Still had some of the same clips, but we do get a little more dialogue. We get Andor speaking. We get some of the B-side characters speaking. And what I noticed the most out of the trailer, I won't give a lot away about the trailer in case you haven't seen it. It has dropped pretty recently. It's on YouTube. It's on Disney Plus's website. So if you haven't checked it out, give it a shot. But what I noticed from the trailer the most is that they really want us to understand that these events are going to lead to Rogue One. There was a little bit of not concern, but a little bit of question as to whether or not this will wrap everything up. They already told us that it would, but of course, whenever you have a good thing, they don't want to see it go away. So there was always speculation that they may try to stretch this out into a season 3. After this trailer, I think that is all but closed. The door is all but closed. This trailer does feel like it is coming to a pinhead. It feels like this is going to be a trailer that's leading us up to the events of Rogue One. Those of us who already watched Rogue One had to watch Rogue One first and then watch the events of Andor. But if you were lucky enough, you were able to watch Andor Season 1, you get to watch Andor Season 2, and if you had the wherewithal, then you saved Rogue One for the finale. Also, there was a trailer that dropped for Lilo and Stitch. I am not gonna lie, it is freaking adorable. If I didn't think that Lilo and Stitch was gonna do well, and I did, but if I didn't, after watching this trailer, I am fully convinced this thing is going to be a smash hit with families, a smash hit with nostalgia. By nostalgia, I mean by people who already watched it and want to see more of that world. They did a fantastic job with the CGI for Stitch. He looks freaking adorable. This is our first full-length trailer. We did get a little bit of a snippet during the Super Bowl, but it didn't really give any of the story away. It was more just showing us how Stitch was going to look. This trailer gives us our first view at Lilo. She is adorable. I was a little concerned because of how well received the animated movie was with Lilo and Stitch. I was concerned that it was going to be tough for them to find a person who could carry that role, bearing in mind that this will be a child actor that will be doing the performance. After watching this trailer, I'm fully sold. She is adorable. She embodies everything that you would want in this character translated into live action. Looking forward to this one. If you haven't watched the trailer, it is on YouTube. It is also on Disney Plus's website, Disney's website. I mean, I am so excited about it that I am seriously, heavily considering just gathering the whole family and we just do a full out movie night opening weekend and just bury all the hatchet, bring the whole family out, make a thing out of it. I think it's going to be worth it, even if they do a shot-for-shot reenactment of the animated movie. Staying in that world of Disney Marvel news, I wouldn't necessarily call it news, but it is interesting. I thought it was an interesting thing to bring up today in our movie news and TV news segment. John Bernthal, the person who plays the Punisher in the new I almost said Netflix, new Disney Plus Born Again series or show, or at least so far this first season. He also played the same character in the Netflix series. He came out in an interview and said that when he was originally pitched the idea for what they had for the show, he turned it down. Just giving us an idea of how much a retooling they had to do in the show, that John Bernthal, one of the key characters in the show, outright said, I just wasn't going to do it. Once they told me what they planned to do, they gave me a little bit of the script and told me the direction they would want to travel in. I was out. That's what he said. I was out. I wasn't gonna participate. Luckily, Kevin Feige got his power back, went back to the drawing board, did make the Netflix series canon, and just decided to make this a continuation of the Netflix series. And obviously, the retooling they did with the writers and the director or directors or showrunners, as you may call them, and then with Kevin Feige's stewardship, whatever correction they made was good enough to get John Bernthal on board. And aren't we happy for it? Because that last episode was a smash success. Moving a little bit, pivoting here. So there was some key art or some still photos dropped for Mortal Kombat 2. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm a sucker for Mortal Kombat. I played the games as a child. I personally liked the movies that they shot back in the 90s, although, of course, at the time, the CGI wasn't where it needed to be for what they were trying to do. I do appreciate what they gave us at the time in which they did. I personally didn't mind the new take on Mortal Kombat. I wasn't entirely thrilled with the new character that they chose to give us, but if we're being honest, that's what Mortal Kombat has always done anyway. They kind of stick to our core characters. We got, Scorpion, you get Sub-Zero, and but then of course you always get the one-off character they throw at you for the new game, and you may or may not see that character brought back as they continue to produce them. So it wasn't like they did anything that was shock or break the mold, as you will say. So looking forward to it. I don't know how I feel about Carl Urban playing Luke Cage, because he comes off as a very rough around the edges kind of guy, and just because of the way I imagine him in the video games, and the way they did such a good job in those 90s incarnation to the big screen of Mortal Kombat, I kind of see Luke Cage as a suave kind of pretty boy actor who has a quick mouth and a smart mouth, but he's also able to fight. And Carl Urban, I just don't know how. And I'm just speculating here. I don't know 100% that that's the character that he's playing, but just the fact that they put him in the forefront of the key art, I'm just left to assume that's what the case may be. Um, there are a few movies in the works right now. They are in development, at least early pre-development of reapproaching the Mummy, the original ones we saw back early 2000s, late 1990s. And looking forward to that. I think that it's about time. Back then for when it came out, CGI wasn't fantastic. They did the best they could with what they had, and they gave us some quality product. But I think we're talking 20 years later. Why not go back to the drawing board and see what they can do with the technology we have today? The one that strikes me as a little strange is that they decided they're going to go ahead and reboot Starship Troopers. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, honestly, me personally, I thought it was a spoof of a movie anyway. I wasn't a big fan of the original. I know that there is an audience for it. I'm not saying that there's not, and I'm not trying to offend anybody who appreciates those movies. What my point of this is I wonder how many people will be willing to go out to a theater to watch it. because it's not like that was a smash hit when it came out originally. So I wonder, and then we've kind of moved away from the spoof movies. So I wonder how much of an audience draw that would be. So it's just a little bit puzzling for me that they decided to remake that. But hey, like I said, there is an audience for it. We'll see how big of an audience that audience will be. In movie news, of course, Snow White did drop recently. It drastically underperformed. I think it made $44 million opening weekend. And let me just look this up for you guys. Snow White. Let me look up the budget for Snow White because that's not what they wanted. I can tell you that right now. Snow White budget box office. Let's go there first. And let's see what we drew in. Snow White grossed $42.21 million domestically, so just shy of 43 million, just over $42 million. And let's see if we can get the budget because I think that budget was pretty big. I think they were high on that movie, and I don't know if they're going to be able to. Yeah, they spent $209 million to make that movie. So we're talking they're going to have to make upwards of 630,000 or $630 million to break even on that movie, and I just don't know with the 42 and a half million dollar opening that you can draw that kind of number even with legs. Even with legs, I think they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose pretty big with that opening. There was some drama that some petty drama that surrounded the star actress in the movie, but I don't think that really has a lot to do with the lack of people coming out to see it. I just honestly think they didn't do a great job marketing the movie. I mean, I watched the trailers and honestly, I felt a little off put by the way they decided to go with the dwarves. I didn't understand that. They could have. I know this is gonna sound like okay, sure, but they could have got some dwarf actors. I don't understand why. There's plenty of them that I could think of three off the cuff that you can go out and get right now that would give you a stellar performance. I don't know what prompted them to do the CGI thing, and it just looks off. It looks weird. Maybe it looks cartoony, and maybe that's what they were going for. But me, I can't speak for all the audience, but at least from my perspective, I just thought that was strange, and it pulled me away from any interest I had in the movie, which wasn't much. It's not a movie for my taste, but if I were slightly interested once I saw the direction they went in uh, with the doors, I was like, "Whoa, that's off putting." And then honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot's acting. I don't think she's a great actress personally. I think she did good for the roles that she was in, but you really need to give her some some help in the movies, and I just don't. I wasn't drawn to it. So if I felt that way, obviously there was a lot of people that felt the way that I did because no one went out to go watch it with a $44 million opening, especially on a 200 plus $1 million budget. Uh, Moving back to Marvel, so Ironheart dropped some still images of what I'm assuming is going to be. Not only did they drop some images of the suit that she wore at the beginning of Wakanda Forever, but then they also dropped some images of what her suit. I'm assuming what her suit will ultimately end up looking like. Honestly, I think it looks pretty good. I'm To be honest, I'm not terribly excited about this show, but only because they haven't given us anything to be excited for. Like they haven't really given the audience, at least from my taste, they haven't given me anything to say, yeah, I need to watch this movie because of this. I don't even sorry, this show because of this or because of that. And they didn't really do a good job introducing the audience to her in Wakanda Forever. She kind of played a B character in that movie. Um so I don't know. They're gonna have to do so, and especially with it being a Disney Plus series, I don't know how much they'll be willing to invest in marketing this show. Uh, I think they were hoping that Wakanda Forever would be enough marketing for her, but I just don't think that it was. I think with the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, and then although the movie did well in the box office, it didn't perform, and it's not Marvel's fault. It's not Disney's fault. You really can't anticipate someone dying the way that he did, and he was going to be the star of your movie. So I understand, and I think they had a bigger role for her to play with Chadwick Boseman, but because he passed away before the movie could be completed, there they had to lean her over to Shuri, and although their interplay was interesting, it just didn't, for me personally, it didn't draw me more towards the character. So are they gonna have, I don't know if they will, but for me personally, if they want to push this Riri Williams character, this new Ironheart character on the audience, they're gonna have to do some version of a budgeting scheme, and I just don't know how much Marvel will be willing to invest into a Ironheart character straight to Disney Plus when they have their big tentpole movies in production. Speaking of big tentpole movies in production, Marvel, as we all know, anyone knows that Marvel is currently in development of, or will be, they're in pre-development now. They intend to be in full production on Avengers Doomsday this year, scheduled to release next summer. But to that point, the Russo brothers obviously are key in to direct. They direct some of Marvel's biggest hits, and of course, it made sense to go back to the well that is not dry. But the Russo brothers said they initially were going to turn down the Avengers movies until they heard the pitch for Doctor Doom, which, and they said, the point that made them reconsider taking on this daunting task of directing two big, huge tentpole movies for Marvel once again was that they love villains who think themselves to be the hero in their own story. So, if nothing else, that gives us a little bit about Doom and the direction they're traveling in. Not that that's breaking the mold. Doom has always thought he was the hero, but at least it tells us that they're not straying far from the comics, at least as far as Doom's persona is. He still thinks, at least they still plan to make him feel like he thinks he's doing the right thing here. And I personally I agree with them. I feel like the mustache twirling villain is overplayed and overused. I like a villain with depth, likening to a Thanos, where you can kind of understand where he's coming from, even though the things that he's choosing to do is pretty diabolical. So I'm looking forward to seeing which direction they take Doctor Doom and how they plan to introduce us to him, because so far we have no indication that we will see Doctor Doom up until the point of Doomsday, which we of course all know at this point that Robert Downey Jr. will be playing that character. As he so pointedly said, new mask, same task. There was one thing that I wasn't going to bring up, but I think I should, only because it's been talked about so abundantly in the news sphere. There's been so many rumors about it. So there was a report, Deadline reported that Sadie Sink was in talks to play a character in the new Spider-Man 4 movie that they're working on soon. Thing is that she came out in an interview shortly thereafter and said she's not willing to commit to anything like that. So I wasn't going to talk about it, but since it was brought up so much and Deadline did report it, I feel like it's at least something to let you guys know about, that is in the rumor mill, that she is reportedly gearing up to play. And it's not the first time we've heard an actress or an actor say, oh no, I'm not doing that, I'm not going to be involved in that movie, and then come to find out they signed a contract 6 to 8 months ago. So we'll see if that ends up panning out to actually be anything or not. But as I mentioned, with all the movie news down and TV news down, that's all I was able to find that was worth at least bringing to your attention. I did want to save a few minutes of the segment to discuss, like I mentioned, this is my 25th video, 25. And I'm going to tell you something, people. If you think doing this is easy, you are very wrong. I just wanted to say that we have, when I say we, me and my wife, we have spent, I couldn't count the amount of hours staying up late, editing, fixing audio. I've had to reshoot several. As a matter of fact, a more recent story is one that happened tonight. I left the gym, came home to take my wife out for dinner because it's my off day, and I usually take her out for dinner on my off days. And came home, and I heard this noise coming from the bathroom. Popped the bathroom door open, and the whole bathroom was flooded. So I go to the store. We get a shop vac because the last one busted. The kids are vacuuming the bathroom. No big deal. We have to call Roto-Rooter. Well, I'm thinking I have enough time to shoot this video, and then in the middle of my last recording, Roto-Rooter pops up. I have to pause it. Well, they're here so long, by the time they get done with everything, I forgot where I left off, so I have to shoot the whole video all over again. And then my editor, my wife, is now past her bedtime, so now I have to figure out how to do everything she usually does for me. And that's a story that happened less than an hour ago. It is currently almost 11 p.m., and I'm shooting this video for you guys now. I've had to reshoot several videos for several different reasons. I've had to reshoot videos because I shot the full video and the audio was crap, or I shot the full video and there was no audio for whatever reason at all. I have shot full videos and made it into the bedroom to let her edit it, and then got there and the whole video has been removed and we don't know why. I have shot videos and we've gone through the editing process, picked some good music and all that, and just to find out that we get copyright flagged because one of the songs that we picked was too close to a song that sounded like somebody else's. I've had lighting issues, sound issues. This is like my third or fourth mic that I've purchased. This is our second camera. This is my second space in the house that I've tried to shoot the videos on. And as I mentioned, we've spent countless hours trying to edit the videos and get them to a standard of quality that we think will be worth even shooting. But we've also spent equal amount of time trying to figure out how we can work in our schedule, because keep in mind, we're both parents, we both have full-time jobs, but we also have to figure out a way to work in watching the shows. And then when you're watching the shows, putting down show notes and watching the movies and going to the theaters. And so just wanted to say, for all you guys that stuck around with me so far, I do appreciate it. This has been a learning and a growing process. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching us grow through this channel and try to grow the channel. I hope that you continue to do so as we progress in this. I want to say business, but we're not making any money. So it's just it has its ups and downs. It's fulfilling at times and it's disappointing at times, but it's something that we both once we started doing it, once she got on board and was willing to help, and she saw what I was trying to do here, we really have enjoyed putting these things together and trying to see how good we can get this channel. And we're still working on it. This is still a work in progress. We are still, every day, we are working on better intros, better exits, better backgrounds. We even considered doing some things with green screen, and which we already purchased. Just really trying to get this thing up and going. And we have, like I said, we've gone through some growing pains, some learning pains, but I do appreciate everyone who's liked and subscribed so far, who's watched my channel from the videos when I was shooting it on my phone against the wall. Do appreciate everyone sticking around and giving us a shot. Hopefully there is more people to come. There are definitely more videos along that topic. I will continue doing Hudson's highlights. Of course, I've invested too much time and too much money at this point to stop. So I will be doing I'm teetering on just staying up. Since I stayed up this late to shoot this one, I think I may go ahead and bite the bullet tomorrow. Now that I've figured out I can kind of do some of the editing myself if I have to. I may stay up tomorrow and go ahead and watch both episodes of Daredevil Born Again and go ahead and shoot the video and have it out on Tuesday night, just to be more competitive with other people who are willing to do so. So keep your eyes open for that. If you have not already, please like and subscribe to the channel. And I appreciate you guys for sticking through so far. I will see you on the next episode of Hustlers Highlights. Take care.